Hi,
Yeah,
Joe.
okay, Kitty, here we are.
Here we
It's
are.
December, the final month of 2024, and we're going to give our intuitive insights and astrological
Astrological.
aspects for at least the first 2 weeks, but I'm going to cover probably more than that, and then we'll see what happens mid-month. You and I were talking before we hit record about you were glad that November ended. I was saying, yeah, that was a tougher month than I expected. But also, as we had predicted, for specifically the second half of the month, which culminated in me kneeling on the bathroom floor vomiting.
And
Um,
me sounding like this, or actually, as Joe can attest, this is really a strong voice in comparison to where I've
yes,
been. Yeah,
yeah. So here we are. Let's dive in, shall we?
sure. All right.
Um,
Would you like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay,
So I
doke.
want to preface this because it's a lot about focusing on joy and the good, focusing on the good. And this is not, absolutely not about some sort of spiritual bypass. We've talked about this before. It's about holding a mindset, even as you're going through dark times, dark nights of the soul, when the shite feels like it's hitting the fan and everything feels like there's
Huh.
chaos all around you. You can still hold within that it's a temporary thing that is going on, as is joy, by the way, right? Um, and that you're going to get through this, that you have more strength and resilience and resources within than you sometimes believe. And sometimes the universe will show you how much stronger you are than you've ever thought. So, that said, here we go for the month of December. The first thing is get out. Get out. Get out of the old mindsets, get out of the old patterns and habits. If you're not aware what they are, then honest to God, they will present themselves. I was saying to Kitty before this, and I wrote something about this on LinkedIn today. I was doing a little yearly review last night, and it occurred to me how much time I'd spent in 2024 complaining, bitching, wasting a lot of, well, not wasting, I'll explain that in a bit, but using my energy to complain about the previous year, 2023, when in fact, this year has been for me an unraveling, especially since I came up to the mountains of in the Catskill Mountains of New York State when I left New York in April, in the city in April. It has been a time to heal and to look at those places inside myself that didn't feel worthy around certain things, about certain things, and how I was living out the victim archetype. So when you get a chance to, when you're getting impulsed, or when you find yourself talking a lot about patterns and habits, or you're complaining about the same old things, that might be the thing that you need to take time to really sit with and let curl up in your lap like a cat and get to know a little better instead of running away from it. Like Pema Chodron says, sometimes we just have to admit that we feel like a piece of shit and, you know, do the work, right? And then we can move on more freely. So get out, follow your heart. If you're feeling the impulse to move out of your discomfort zone, do it. Be bold, bold, bold. This, as we head into 2025, I really believe that if you're feeling the impulse to take what for you could be bolder action, please follow the impulse. Please, 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 please. I know for myself, having had that experience of vomiting on Friday, kneeling in front of the toilet with one of my cats looking at me like, what's happening? And my dog kind of like looking at me like this and licking my leg, um, because they've never seen me like that. I feel like something left me besides what I said, besides the obvious that left me. I feel like something psychically that was building up for months was finally let go of because now I feel more connected than I have in a very long time to my inner fire, my focus, my determination, right? So please pay attention because when we get sick, Kitty might explain a little bit about her journey through this. Illness sometimes helps us reveal, is a way of our body slowing us down so it can reveal our unconscious patterns and habits. It can reveal the shadowy stuff. It can take us to the place where revelations occur. Okay. So number two, take stock of your joys. Take stock of your joys, right? We're in December. It's a holiday time. There's going to be a lot of peace and joy, joy to the world, peace on earth. Take stock of your joys. It's a good thing to do. Take stock of what makes you feel light and bright, happy and free, and do more of those things. Be determined that in the coming month and year, you will do more of what makes you feel lighter and brighter. Okay, as we head into 2025, this is number three. Do your best to surround yourself with people who lift you up, who support your light and bright side, who will listen, and who will allow you to have the feelings that lead to breakthroughs. And surround yourself with people who are willing to let you do you, right? They don't try and fix you. They don't try and give you over advice you. They just see you and your brilliance, and they go, okay, yes, you go do you, right? And then if you have to step away for a little bit to do your little inner process work, and you come back, or like I have a support team that I go to. I know the people who can listen without prejudice, and I go to them, right? So I think that's going to be more important than ever as we head into 2025, because I think we're going to be seeing more people go, whoa, wait a minute. No, it's this way. I thought it was this way all this time, and maybe it was because I was here, so it must have been, but now I'm feeling drawn to go this way because that's where the light is. Go to the delights. And the fourth, and this is appropriate for the holiday season, is celebrate everything. Celebrate everything, even the times that you're kneeling on the floor vomiting. It, you can celebrate those moments that feel heavy, um, because there's often expansion on the other side when you let that weight go, or when it lets you go. Okay, so that's me for 2020, the December 2024. Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, for me, I've had this. I'm one of those November people, and I've had this.
Mhm.
Um, so pretty much since November 3rd, somebody's either been trying to take my name or my
Yeah.
voice has been taken. And for me, the reflection on that
The
is
name on social media.
on social media, on one
Yeah.
platform, but not just once, not just twice, but three times. I've gone three different accounts to try and go around it. And each time someone steps in and says, well, no, that isn't you. And then I start to lose my voice. Um, I got probably started around the 23rd and got quite severe. And so I'm listening to what you're saying to me, and I'm going, yes, because guess who a big player is this month? Astrologically, of course, is Mercury. Mercury that's in retrograde, how we use our voice, but it's also about how we experience things. So your information that's coming forth is really interesting, um, because it really matches, shocking, the astrological thing I have across the top. Be prepared and optimistic right under it. And it's a downward spiral into a pathway of light. So it's a deep dive. It's that retrograde energy. Started really a lot today with our Venus energy. This is the 2nd of December, because I had no voice really on the 1st of December. That was trying in your is working with our Great Awakening energy. It's more about quantity of our lives. I mean, quality of our lives rather than the quantity. And when you lose your identity, Facebook has been a platform I've been on for 16 years. And it's how I keep in touch with a lot of people. It would have been something that sent me into a crisis, but I've just done a lot of sitting here going, can't talk to people, can't find them on Facebook. Huh, guess not supposed to right now. And it's about thinking of new ways. And the overall message for this month is we're going to be diving into all areas of our life. This is not a surface reconciliation. It's who are we? On the 4th, we have that Mercury retrograde in a opposition with our Saturn or our Jupiter energy. So our expansion energy it's that's an abundance of news and talking, but it's going back and forth. How am I experiencing this? How internally am I talking to not only to myself, but am I experiencing it internally? So I love the idea of delight. You know, a thing that I have done for over 16 years is something called Seasons of Light. Can't do it this year on Facebook. Don't have Facebook at the moment. Might show up tomorrow, might not. Um, and so so this year I'm going to celebrate the Seasons of Light for me. Because there's nothing I can do. And even though I know this is a very Aquarian time in this realm, that Aquarian time has to start internally to be in touch with the greater internal world. Um, 6th through the 8th, we have an interesting kind of unfolding. We had something called a black moon, but we only had a black moon for half of the world yesterday. And for the other half, the eastern half, it's going to be on December 30th. And what a black moon is, it's called the dark side. Thinking of Pink Floyd goes right there. Dark side of the moon, dark side of a blue moon, which is all about symbiotic and wisdom. When you have new wisdom and new awakening, there are darknesses that you're talking exactly about what you're talking about, Joe. The darknesses that you are dealing with and putting together. And I, yes, this is a growing experience. And in that growth, there are things I'm having to let go of people, places, things, understandings. And it's a little scary, um, especially as I'm looking at this development of the vision in this Aquarian energy we are dealing with. On the 6th, we also have Mars, which is the rarest planet to go retrograde, goes retrograde in Leo, in the placement of cells. Mars likes Leo. So there's going to be a lot of dramatic internal energy, and eventually it will retrograde back into Cancer, where it's always in a pivot position.
Quick question. I didn't know that Mars was one of the rare planets to go retrograde. Do you know why that is?
It's position in the sky. It's how it travels. So, and what remember, retrograde is like we're walking together, and then I speed up. And when I look back, it looks like it's going backwards, but it's not. It's just kind of stationing and moving. I'm just keeping at my speed. That's the best way to explain that. So that's why it becomes an internal work. Mars retrogrades, all the other planets retrograde. Well, we know Mercury retrogrades several times in a year. Mars doesn't retrograde almost every 2 years. And so the last time it retrograded, it spent 7 months in Gemini. It's going to spend part of the time in Leo. And this, we've talked about this little period of time is a lot of endings. So be kind to yourself, folks. Again, focus on your joys because that's all it's going to come through. If whatever you want to hold on to is what you're going to hold on to. I wish you best. My biggest learning of my 63rd year was I have no idea why anybody does anything. So stop spending any time trying to figure it out because I would spend a lot of time, well, not in overthinking about them, but I realized I was in my own way anticipating why I thought they might be. I have no idea why anybody does anything. So, barely myself. And so that's a wonderful freedom that has kind of stepped forward. And when we look at this Mars retrograde, it really is in the placement of where am I putting my will? Where am I putting my energy right now? We're feeling this kind of slow down. And on the same day that Mars retrograde, Neptune comes direct. Spirit steps back out. Our dreams, our philosophies, our focuses now are about, again, externally, as we've kind of spent the last 4.5 months trying to figure out really, is this really my dream? Did I really want to do this? Did I not really want to do that? And then and interestingly enough, on the night sky on the 7th, you'll be able to see Jupiter. Jupiter's position between the sun and the moon. You'll be able to see it very brightly in the sky. Jupiter's that planet of expansion that has retrograde last month. So really, this is about expansion and how I experience things. And then we have also on the 7th, it's a very interesting combination because we have Pluto that is or Venus that is conjunct Pluto, which is visionary energy. Venus enters on the 6th, our Aquarian energy, along with us. So that's the vision of our values, the vision of our relationships, the vision of our balance, our stability. And we have a real boost there, visionary work, beliefs by our perspectives in the end of that first month. Remind me, there's a question I want to ask you. before we leave. I'm only going to go to the 15th. Um, the 12th is it's interesting because we have Venus conjunct um, Venus working with Uranus, and at the same time in an opposition with Mars, which is at that point retrograde. So there's some great awakening around this relationship visionary energy that is also about where am I putting my will in this? Again, it's a chaos internalness that can be being multiplied externally. And it's coming into that full moon. This is the second time we've had a full moon on the 15th. It will be in Gemini. And it really is about light on what it is we want to finish our experiences. It's bringing an end to a whole cycle for us to let go of and look at how I want to experience things. Yes, the world may be chaotic, but I don't have to. I can do a lot of, oh, that's not for me energy as we go into, and this is the season of light. This is about what light steps forward for us, what, and then on 15th, we also have uh, Mercury stations direct again. So it's a lot of communication around that full moon, a lot of communication about how we experience, but there's a duality in it because it is Gemini. So, and the end of the month proves to take a lot of this stuff um, with the universe on your side, if you're willing to let it be on your side. And that goes back to your complaining piece. And it's interesting when you lose your voice and you lose your identity, what do you have? And I've spent a lot of time thinking, huh, doing a lot of just sitting around doing nothing. There's no, you know, I'm going to make a wreath. I've been decorating. I mean, doing
Yeah,
things.
the normal distractions. When you take away the normal distractions, like I did with living in New York City or living in a major metropolitan area like San Diego or New York City, um, and you take away television, news, you you get to see it. And this is why I would go out in nature alone for extended periods of time, or when I did vision quests with my shamanic teachers, they would put me in these situations where I was cut off from everything, including other people, right? So it's a fantastic way to get to know yourself.
It really is. And there's a lot of drama whipping up. And December it has this theme in there. But again, I love the advice, tap into the joy then. There's joy has drama. Joy has beauty and intensity. Wow, Gus, still using that. Look up at the sky, Gus standing for, you know, um, excuse me, God, universe, source, spirit. Wow, Gus, just that. So my question to you is, um, there's a lot of buzz around the third tomorrow in the both woo-woo and non-woo-woo world that something is brewing. And I do feel like
Mm.
something is brewing, and but again, I'm only getting these little, I want to call them glimmers. It's not about me, but it's not about me solving the puzzle. It's about me. Oh, I like that glimmer. It's celebrating. Oh, that's cool.
The only thing, I mean, this hasn't come to me until just now, until you're asking for it. But while you were
I
saying that, I was just
figured,
feeling
I figured that's why I'd ask you. Yeah.
these explosions of light. I really do feel like this is a lighter month in a lot of ways. In the United States, I think we need it to be lighter right now because we had a tumultuous several months leading up until to the election in the United States on what was it, the 6th of November. And I think people are going to be grateful for the holidays, between Thanksgiving and New Year's, because we might see some unusual things happening on coming out of the government starting around the 20th of January. So focus on the light. And as we get further into 2025, to focus on the light. I feel like the third tomorrow, there's a lot of light expansion, light explosion. So
Well, we'll have to see kind of what it is because there's a lot of buzz around. And we talked about early in December. I'm feeling more that 6th and 7th, but I know that that's astrologically a lot of energy, that information coming to light, information because of all the Mercury placements, and the sun is conjunct Mercury, and that's truce with Mercury. It's actually called a gazemi, which is an intense amount of that Sagittarian energy. Um, it's just cute. I kind of knew you hadn't talked about it, so I literally wanted you to see what came to you. So it's interesting.
No, I have gotten no specific dates. And, I often don't get timelines. If someone asks me for insight into things, when I get timelines in my head, and usually I see it as a calendar, and like a line that goes from one date to another. Um, but I haven't gotten any timeline hits, and I've been meditating a lot in the last week about the coming month. No, my guidance has been offer people joy, offer people ways to go back into their peaceful corner and to be at one with themselves.
Right? Every area of your life is being touched. Sit with it, pay attention to it. It's an opportunity, a golden opportunity I just heard to really, I'm certainly am at this point of, well, I guess I'm going to know a lot about myself before I'm done. All these things, you know, it's the wildest trip about, I mean, nobody can explain what's going on. With my Facebook. We do know the first account was literally hijacked. And there's no place for hijacked. There's only for hacked. But it wasn't hacked. It was taken from me. And,
Mm.
it's
A
been
lot
really
of good
interesting.
metaphors in there.
Yeah. So, all right, Joe. So we'll probably see each other maybe a little after mid-month.
Around the 15th.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Oh, I want to just throw this out there. Two things from me. On Tuesdays, only the first 3 Tuesdays of this month am I doing my Spirit Messages group, which is on Zoom. If you want more information, put a comment down below. And I have a Cyber December offer, which is a 30-minute intuitive insight, shamanic insight reading for just $60 for 30 minutes. And it's really laser focused on
We have a
you
fire
and your
ceremony too.
and fire ceremony on December 21st. So
I will be
that's what
there
I've
at the
got coming
fires.
up. So
I will be at the fire ceremony.
yeah,
So
so that's what's happening with my
my
offerings
two
for the
words
month of
this year:
December.
acceptance and what was the other one? Obviously, it hasn't stuck yet, but acceptance is
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think oh, it was comfort, acceptance and
I will
comfort.
say that in a meditation yesterday, I heard the words after I was doing that review, radical acceptance. We can step into radical acceptance. That takes away the victimization stuff.
So, all
It's
right,
a journey.
everyone, we'll see you in the
All right,
15th.
much love.
Namaste.
See you in a few weeks.